Are you noticing these signs in your loved one? It's a difficult question to ask, but it's one that many families are facing when it comes to end-of-life care. The decision to consider hospice care is never easy, but recognizing the right time to make this choice can greatly improve the quality of life for your loved one and provide much-needed support for you and your family. In this video, we're going to walk you through 10 signs that it might be time to consider hospice care. These signs are not always obvious, and they often develop gradually, but knowing what to look for can help you make informed, compassionate decisions. Let's get started. Starting with #10 frequent hospitalizations. If your loved one is being admitted to the hospital repeatedly for the same condition, this could be a major red flag. Repeated hospitalizations often indicate that their illness is no longer responding to treatments as it once did, or that their overall condition is deteriorating. This can be incredibly draining for both the patient and the family, and it might be a sign that their needs are better suited for hospice care, where the focus shifts from aggressive treatment to comfort and quality of life. #9. Uncontrolled pain. One of the most challenging aspects of serious illness is pain, and when pain becomes difficult to manage, it can drastically reduce quality of life. If your loved one is experiencing constant or increasing pain, despite pain medications or treatments, this may be a signal that hospice care could help. Hospice care focuses on alleviating pain and managing symptoms, ensuring that the patient remains as comfortable as possible in their final days. #8. Significant weight loss. Sudden and unexplained weight loss is often a sign that the body is no longer able to sustain itself as it once did. When the body starts to shut down, weight loss is a common symptom. This can happen rapidly or over a longer period of time, and it is a sign that the body is no longer processing food effectively. If your loved one is losing weight at a concerning rate and cannot seem to gain it back, it might be time to consider hospice care to help address their nutritional and comfort needs. #7. Difficulty breathing. Shortness of breath, especially when it occurs even at rest, is another sign that hospice care might be necessary. If your loved one is struggling to breathe, even with medications or treatments, this is an indication that their body is having trouble maintaining normal functions. Hospice care can help provide breathing support and focus on comfort measures to alleviate the distress associated with difficulty breathing. #6. Decreased ability to perform daily activities. When your loved one is no longer able to complete daily tasks like dressing, eating, or even getting out of bed, it might indicate that their condition has reached a point where they need more intensive support. Simple actions that were once second nature now become overwhelming. Hospice care can assist with all aspects of personal care, ensuring that the patient maintains dignity and comfort in the final stages of life. #5. Increased sleepiness or fatigue. It's normal to feel tired when battling a serious illness, but if your loved one is sleeping more than usual or seems excessively fatigued, this could be a sign that their body is winding down. Constant tiredness or the inability to stay awake for extended periods can be a clear indicator that the body is nearing the end. Hospice care provides a calm and restful environment, helping to manage fatigue and allowing your loved one to sleep comfortably. #4. Confusion or disorientation. If your loved one is becoming confused, disoriented, or is unable to recognize loved ones, this is a critical sign that their illness may be progressing. Cognitive decline can occur when the body is under extreme stress, and it can be one of the most unsettling signs for families. If your loved one is having difficulty remembering things or is not aware of their surroundings, it's important to discuss care options with healthcare professionals. Hospice care can help manage this confusion and provide emotional support for both the patient and their family. #3. Withdrawal from socializing. As the body starts to deteriorate, many patients begin to withdraw from social activities and interactions with family and friends. They may lose interest in things that once brought them joy or isolate themselves from others. This withdrawal can be both physical and emotional, as the person may not feel able to interact as they once did. Hospice care often helps to provide emotional and spiritual support, allowing patients to process their feelings and find comfort during this challenging time. #2. Loss of appetite. A reduced appetite, or an outright refusal to eat, is a common symptom that often signals that the body is preparing for the end. When a person loses their desire to eat or drink, it's typically a sign that their body is no longer capable of processing food and that they are entering the final stages of life. Hospice care can provide specialized care, including nutritional support and symptom management, to ensure the patient remains comfortable and hydrated, even if they are no longer able to consume food normally. And the #1 sign, a deterioration in overall health. If your loved one's health is steadily declining and there's no longer any significant improvement with treatment, it may be time to consider hospice care. A noticeable drop in mobility, cognitive function, or a general weakness that's been persisting for weeks or months can be a strong indicator. When the body and mind can no longer function in the same way, hospice care can step in to provide comprehensive support. Sometimes, it's hard to know when to seek help for a loved one, especially when it comes to making decisions about end-of-life care. In this video, I want to share a personal story that reflects the journey many families go through when they start to realize that hospice care is needed. This is the story of the Johnson family, who went through a series of difficult decisions with their beloved father, Thomas, and how they ultimately found peace with their choice to embrace hospice care. The Johnson family had always been close-knit. Thomas, the father and grandfather, was a man of great strength and character, always known for his laughter and his love for spending time with his children and grandchildren. But over the last few months, his health had started to decline. It was subtle at first. A few trips to the hospital, then a longer recovery time after each visit. But as the weeks passed, the family began to notice more signs that Thomas's condition was worsening. At first, it was frequent hospitalizations. He was admitted for pneumonia and complications from his chronic heart disease. But each time he seemed to struggle more and recover less. His wife, Evelyn, had noticed he was sleeping more than usual, and when he was awake, he had trouble staying alert. Conversations that used to be filled with stories and laughter became one-sided, as Thomas could no longer remember recent events or recognize some of his closest family members. But the tipping point came when Evelyn noticed he wasn't eating. He had always been a hearty eater, and when he refused meals and lost significant weight, she began to feel a deep sense of unease. One day, as she sat by his side, he struggled to catch his breath, even though he was just lying there. He was exhausted, unable to even take a few steps without help. That was when Evelyn knew it was time to have a serious conversation about hospice care. Dr. Sarah, a palliative care physician, explains that when you see a steady decline in health, with no significant improvements, it's time to consider the option of hospice. Hospice care is not about giving up. It's about ensuring that the patient's final months, weeks, or even days are spent with comfort and dignity. Dr. Sarah says, recognizing the signs early, like weight loss, increased fatigue, shortness of breath, and the inability to perform daily activities, allows families to make the best decisions for their loved ones and helps them to avoid unnecessary hospital visits that can be stressful for everyone involved. As difficult as it was for the Johnson family, recognizing the signs and choosing hospice care allowed them to spend Thomas's final days with him in peace. With hospice care, Thomas was surrounded by family, in his own home, where he could be comfortable. Evelyn shared that although it was heartbreaking to let go, the time they spent together, without the chaos of frequent hospital trips, was incredibly precious. The key takeaway from the Johnson family's story is that it's never too early to consider hospice care. By recognizing the signs and seeking help when it's needed, families can ensure that their loved ones receive the care they deserve, not only in terms of medical treatment, but also in emotional and spiritual support. Hospice care isn't about giving up. It's about providing comfort, compassion, and the opportunity to spend quality time together, even in the most challenging moments of life. When it comes to hospice care, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions that can cloud people's judgment and prevent them from seeking the help they truly need. Many families, when faced with the decision of transitioning to hospice care, hesitate due to misinformation. Today we're going to debunk some of the most common myths about hospice care, so you can approach this decision with confidence, clarity, and a better understanding of what hospice truly offers. Myth versus reality format. Myth #1. Hospice care is only for people who are about to die. Reality. This is one of the biggest myths about hospice care. Hospice is often misunderstood as being reserved only for the final hours of life. But in reality, it's about providing comfort, pain relief, and emotional support during the final stages of an illness. Typically when curative treatments are no longer effective, hospice care can actually begin earlier than many realize, when a patient has a prognosis of 6 months or less to live. The key is recognizing when treatment goals shift from curing an illness to managing symptoms and improving quality of life. Early hospice intervention can make a huge difference in providing comfort and dignity. Myth #2. Choosing hospice means giving up on my loved one. Reality. Choosing hospice is not about giving up. It's about making a conscious decision to shift focus from aggressive treatments to comfort care. Hospice care is centered around providing physical, emotional, and spiritual support for both the patient and their family. It's a way to ensure your loved one's final days are as peaceful and pain-free as possible. Hospice teams focus on symptom management, so patients can live their last days with dignity, surrounded by loved ones, in the place they call home. Whether that's at home, a hospice facility, or a hospital, it's a compassionate way of caring for a person who is nearing the end of life. Myth #3. Hospice care is only for cancer patients. Reality. Hospice care is for anyone with a terminal illness, not just cancer. Whether your loved one has heart failure, advanced neurological conditions like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, or chronic respiratory conditions like COPD, they can all benefit from hospice care when treatment no longer provides relief or improvement. The goal is to focus on managing symptoms and improving comfort during their final stage of life. If your loved one is struggling with any serious illness and is nearing the end of life, hospice care may be the right choice. Myth #4. Hospice care is too expensive. Reality. Many people believe that hospice care is an unaffordable luxury, but in fact, most hospice services are covered by Medicare, Medicaid, and many private insurance plans. These plans often cover the full cost of hospice care, including medication, equipment, and visits from the hospice team. The financial burden of caring for a loved one can be overwhelming, and hospice care is designed to be a cost-effective solution, providing comprehensive care without additional out-of-pocket expenses. Myth #5. Hospice care means no more doctor visits or treatments. Reality: while it's true that hospice care focuses on symptom management instead of curative treatments, this doesn't mean that doctors are no longer involved. In fact, hospice care involves a team of medical professionals, including doctors, nurses, social workers, chaplains, and counselors, who work together to provide the most appropriate care. The primary difference is that the focus shifts from pursuing curative treatments to providing comfort, managing pain, and addressing emotional and spiritual needs. Patients still receive continuous care, but it's tailored to their individual needs, ensuring they're as comfortable and supported as possible. Myth #6. Hospice care is only available at the end of life. Reality: hospice care is often thought to be a service that's only used in the final days or hours of life. But this is not true. In fact, it's most beneficial when started earlier in the progression of a terminal illness. The earlier hospice care is initiated, the more time there is for families to adjust, for symptoms to be managed effectively, and for the patient to enjoy the highest quality of life possible. Recognizing the signs that it's time for hospice, like increased pain, frequent hospital visits, or difficulty breathing, and choosing hospice care early can improve your loved one's experience and provide support for the entire family. Myth #7. Hospice care is only for people who are bedridden. Reality: hospice care is not limited to people who are bedridden. It's about ensuring comfort and support for any patient whose illness has advanced to a stage where curative treatments are no longer effective. Whether a person is able to walk or move about, hospice care is still designed to provide relief from symptoms like pain, shortness of breath, or nausea. The goal is always comfort, no matter the patient's physical capabilities, allowing them to live the final phase of their life with dignity and respect. As we wrap up this video, we want to hear from you. If you found this information helpful or have any questions about hospice care, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Sharing your own experiences or asking questions in the comments below will not only help others who may be facing similar situations, but also create a supportive community where we can all learn and grow together. Remember, when it comes to making decisions about hospice care, you're not alone. We're here to guide you every step of the way.